meeting later today. Just leave that as a possibility. Definitely going to have one tomorrow. Going to try to move through as many bills as possible. Members, I mentioned this, I believe it was last week. We are going to allow some PCSs and some amendments during the committee to move things along as quick as possible. So we'll clearly explain those. And if you have any questions, we're happy to take those as well. So I first want to thank our Sergeant at Arms, Bill Riley, Russell Salisbury, Glenn Wall, David Layton, everything you do for always being here with us, and we appreciate it. I also want to recognize our pages. I think we have a number of pages that have showed up here today, the staff committee and watch committee. So all the pages, please stand that are here. Glad to have you here, and hope you get a chance to see your government in action, and hopefully one day some of you will be sitting up here helping represent your community. So glad to have each one of you here today. We're going to go ahead and get started. Going to jump around the counter a little bit, trying to move members in and out. First, I have Senate Bill 595. Representative Howard, welcome to the Rules Committee, and the floor is yours to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. There's actually 11 parts to the revenue laws bill, and this is the annual bill that we have every year, and normally the House and Senate work together and resolve the concerns. There's a couple of things in this one that was not necessarily resolved, but the Senate had some things that they wanted to put in, and so did the House. But I'm going to try to go through it part by part, and stop me if you hear too much. Part 1 simply creates a temporary timber casualty loss deduction for losses attributed to the hurricane. There's 2 parts to Part 1, and also extends the waiver of interest affordable to taxpayers located in the Helene-affected counties. Extends that to September 25, 25, which aligns with the federal extension. Part 2 conforms to the federal system for audits of large partnerships and provides an election for partnerships to pay tax at the partnership level. Part 3, with regard to sales tax, creates a taxpayer-friendly 60-day grace period for remote sellers to register with the Department of Revenue once they have exceeded the $100,000 threshold.
Mr. Chairman.
Gross sales.
If you'll pause for a minute, Representative Howard. Representative Dixon, you're recognized.
For a motion at the appropriate time.
Representative Stevens, you're recognized.
I have a question.
Representative Stevens, you're recognized to ask a question. Representative Howard, do you yield?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I believe in finance this morning they added the credit union update. Is that the same provisions we had before that were in concern to people?
Yes, ma'am. That is down section 11.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Dixon moves for a favorable report to Senate Bill 595. All in favor will say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Be chair, the ayes have it. Ayes do have it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Thank you, Representative Howard. And Representative Howard, it's a Senate bill. I figured you'd be carrying it on the floor. She will be. Next, I want to move to Senate Bill. Let's see. Senate Bill 321. Who's carrying that? Senate Bill. Representative Cheshire, you're recognized to present your bill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee. This is a CPA licensure bill. Currently, it requires a bachelor's degree with 30 additional credit hours, or 30 additional credit hours within the concentration of accounting. What we're doing is going to a 2-year degree, replacing some of that with 2 years of experience working under a licensed CPA. It's a jobs bill. We'll make it easier to backfill some of the vacancies that we've got in, and we're keeping in the safeguard of the state mandated test for certification, so people can't operate on their own until they pass the state exam.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Hall moves for a favorable report to Senate Bill 321. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Being chair, the ayes have it. Ayes do have it. And Senate Bill 321 will be passed the committee. Representative Chester, you're carrying on the floor? Okay. Next, we have Senate Bill 429. Without objection, I move that the PCS be before the committee. Hearing none, the PCS will be before the committee. And Senate Bill 429 to 2025 Public Safety Act. Who's carrying this bill?
Carson Smith.
Okay, so let's suspend that for a minute. We'll come back. Next, we're going to move to Senate Bill 690. Who's carrying Senate Bill 690? Senate Bill 690.
We don't have that in the, it's not in our committee yet.
Okay. Okay, it has not been reported out yet, so we'll postpone that. Senate Bill 710. Who's carrying Senate Bill 710? All right. Senate Bill 472. All right, Representative Cairns, you're recognized to present the bill. It does have a PCS. Are there any objections to present? Without objection, the PCS is before the committee. Any objections? So moved. Representative Cairns, you're you're recognized to present your bill.
It's been a day already, right? Thank you. Senate Bill 472 really comes in three parts. First, the bill provides some reform to the 401 certification process. North Carolina law already requires that the state's water quality standards are consistent with federal water quality standards. So the intention here is just to provide clear timelines, and the language was developed in consultation with DEQ and has their agreement. Secondly, the legislation establishes clear environmental standards and a consistent regulatory framework for the development of upland basin marinas. This language was developed in close coordination with DEQ, also in the North Carolina Coastal Federation. Lastly, this legislation addresses man-made ditches and clarifies that man-made ditches and features are not natural coastal features intended to be designated as areas of environmental concern by CAMA. Overall, the goal of this legislation is to provide clear timelines and a consistent regulatory framework while retaining environmental accountability.
Representative Torb is recognized for a question.
Thank you. Quick question. You mentioned you conferred with DEQ on some of the regulatory issues about the marinas, I believe. Were general citizens involved in those discussions as well?
I believe that a lot of interested parties were, certainly the developers and home builders and such, but it's been a 2-year process developing this language, and we feel that it's very concerned to have it in place.
Follow up.
You're recognized for a follow-up.
In your opinion, in any way does this encumber or detract away from usage by general citizens out east?
No, sir, absolutely not. This is, we're trying to help the citizenry to be able to get permits in timely manners.
It's just that time of year we're watching stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Miller moves for a favorable report to post committee substitute to Senate Bill 472, unfavorable to the original bill. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Be sure the ayes have it. Ayes do have it. Senate Bill 472 is passed the committee. Thank you very much. Representative Smith, stay right there. We're going to move to Senate Bill 429. The PCS has been approved and before the committee. You're recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members. This is there's a bunch of stuff in this bill. I think Christmas tree is a term we've heard before. Over half of it has already passed the House. Some of the rest of it came from the Senate, and even the PCS had some more stuff that's been agreed to by both the House and the Senate. I could go through each section, or I could just kind of leave it up to the chair. If there are any questions, Mr. Chair, I'd be glad to try to answer.
Any further discussion or debate? Representative Torbert, you're recognized for a question.
Were there any issues added that might rise concern among this body or general citizens of North Carolina?
I don't know of any direct opposition to anything. You know, sometimes you reach agreements with people, and I think that's where we're on everything in here. Hate to say it for sure because I think there's about 30 items, but I think everything in here has been vetted, and if there are any stakeholders involved, they've all come to the table and have agreed to it.
Thank you.
And to add to that, Representative Torbert, I know that there's been a tremendous amount of input Representative Stevens, Representative Carson Smith, Representative Budd, Representative Reeves, and many others have all been engaged in this. And Representative Stevens would like to make a comment or ask a question.
I'd like to ask just one quick question, and then I'll make a motion. The PCFs you bought today, the only thing it really changed was removing some language about burglary. It has to be with a firearm to be aggravated and other dangerous weapons. That's the thing that came out.
I know that did. I don't think the PCS did anything else because we've been kind of busy and I haven't even got through it. But that was what the PCS was supposed to do.
I'd move for a favorable report to PCS.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Stevens moves for a favorable report to the proposed committee substitute to Senate Bill 429, unfavorable to the original bill. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Being chair, the ayes have it, ayes do have it, and Senate Bill 429 has passed the committee. Representative Smith, are you carrying Senate Bill 710? All right. You're recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, members. Let me pull it out and see what the title of it is. DPS agency changes. We actually had a House bill that was going along. This started out in the Senate, the same as the House bill. Some things were added to it. This is basically almost everything in here was an agency request. I think there were two minor issues that were not asked from DPS, but they were put in. DPS has no objection to them. Again, Mr. Chair, I'd be glad to dive into any specific sections somebody might have a question on.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Miller moves for a favorable report to Senate Bill 710. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Being chair, the ayes have it, ayes do have it, and Senate Bill 710 has passed committee. Thank you, Representative Smith. Want to move to Senate Bill 101. Who's carrying Senate Bill 101? Senate Bill 101 going once, going twice. That'll be displaced. Senate Bill 328. Who's carrying Senate Bill 328? Representative Pearl, you're recognized to present the bill from your desk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 328 is a PCS out of the ABC committee. This PCS for Senate Bill 328 would prohibit the possession of hemp-derived consumable products for persons under the age of 21. It would also prohibit any person to knowingly sell or deliver a hemp-derived consumable product to a person who is under the age of 21. And a violation is a Class 2 misdemeanor. This does not expand current law in any way. It only restricts it further by ensuring that persons under 21 do not possess or purchase any consumable hemp. There will be a friendly amendment on the floor, Mr. Chairman, that will actually define hemp rather than just refer to the general statute's definition. We'll actually spell it out. But I'll stand for any questions.
Are there any discussion or debate?
I have a question.
Representative Stevens, you're recognized.
Thank you. Representative Pirtle, didn't we already pass this in some version? Did we pass this?
It's currently being considered in, I think, a couple of different bills that are out there, but it has not been passed as of yet. It's in reg reform in both chambers, I think, have talked about it, and we've talked about it since January, but here we get to the 11th hour, and we haven't done anything. So this is at the request of law enforcement across the state.
One more follow-up.
Representative Stevens, you're recognized.
Will this have anything to do with medicinal marijuana?
Nothing to do with medicinal marijuana.
Thank you.
All this does is restrict existing law.
Mr. Chair. Representative Cunningham's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to make a few comments. Representative Stevens, we did pass a version that would restrict it on school grounds for activities in other places where children are, but we also had included a restriction on the vaping on school properties. So it went over to the Senate as a 2-page, and it came back as a 19-page. And I think this is the results of them looking at it again. Thank you.
Representative Torbert, you're recognized.
Thank you. Representative Purtle, thank you. Does this does this bill by any chance limit the production to make it illegal for the production items that look like children's candy?
If it has consumable hemp in it, this makes it illegal to purchase. I know there's a lot of discussion going back and forth on regulating hemp, and I just did not want to miss the opportunity because I think everyone agrees that this should not be in the hands of children. And this is just a clean bill to say this is a good start. Take it out of the hands of kids.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or debate? Representative Dixon, you're recognized.
I don't know who this question for. Is this the bill that come out of ABC today?
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion or debate? Representative Dixon, you're recognized.
I've received information that the bill, in essence, legalizes full-blown marijuana in that it doesn't have the 3/10, and this information has just come to me. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I would like to know the answer to that question. Does this loosen anything related to the legalization of marijuana or any products derived from marijuana?
Ms. Sykes. Ms. Sykes, welcome to the Rules Committee. You're recognized.
Susan Sykes, Legislative Analysis. Representative Dixon, no, it does not. What the definitions in this do refer to the definition of hemp, which, as you know, is defined as anything that has less than 0.3% THC. As Representative Pirtle indicated, there have been a lot of questions about that, and I believe that he has indicated that I have drafted a floor amendment that will make that more clear on the face of the bill, that we are talking about the less than 0.3% Delta 9 THC products, that we are not in any way legalizing marijuana or anything that's not what we have otherwise defined as a hemp product.
Follow up, Mr. Chair.
You're recognized.
The information I got says the ABC version does not include the 0.3% concentration requirement, so it would allow consumables with any concentration of Delta 9 THC. Is that correct?
The definition of hemp-derived consumable product that is in Senate 328 does not specifically reference the 0.3%. However, it does utilize the definition of hemp, which does include anything less than 0.3%. However, also, the bill only does not do anything to make anything legal that is not already legal. It only says if you are under 21, you cannot possess any of these products and they cannot be sold to you. The current definition that is in there is broader than just the 0.3% Delta 9. It is all hemp-derived cannabinoids, including the Delta 8s, the Delta 7s, the Delta 10s, the synthetics, all of that. This bill is saying you can't have it if you're under 21, you can't sell it to somebody under 21. None of that makes anything that is currently illegal legal. The amendment that I believe Representative Pirtle is going to propose on the floor is going to make it clear that that term hemp-derived cannabinoid does also include anything that is less than 0.3%, so that we are clear that that also means you can't sell the legal stuff to them. But it does nothing to in any other way allow something to be sold that cannot currently be sold in the state of North Carolina.
Members, I'm going to temporarily displace the bill in hopes that we can get the amendment addressed and then bring the amendment back to the body. So that way, before this bill leaves this committee or gets put a vote, it is very clear what this bill does and does not do.
Mr. Chair, if I have it drafted, if you can give me a few minutes to get a gray copy printed for you, then we can put it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And so Senate Bill 328 will be
Mr. Chair.
temporarily displaced. Yes, sir.
I thought our rule was that we did not take amendments in rules.
That was a rule that we decided that we were going to go forth, as including PCSs and amendments. But since we're getting towards the end of our time here in Raleigh, if you remember last week, the week before last, we said we're going to start taking up certain amendments and certain PCSs to move the process along, that everything will be clearly expelled out and before the committee. Next, we have Senate Bill 387. Who's carrying Senate Bill 387?
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Hall, you're recognized to carry Senate Bill 387 from your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just clarifying the brownfields program over at DEQ. I know of no opposition. I'd ask for your support.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Gillespie moves for a favorable report to Senate Bill 387. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Being chair, the ayes have it, the ayes do have it, and Senate Bill 387 has passed the committee. Thank you. Next, we're going to move to Senate Bill 69. Who's carrying Senate Bill 69? Anybody carrying Senate Bill 69? Yes. All right, we're temporary. We're going to temporarily place Senate Bill 69. Going to move on. Next, we're going to move to Senate Bill 664. Who's carrying Senate Bill 664? Representative Pickett, you're recognized to present the bill from your desk. We do have a PCS. Without objection, the PCS is before the committee. Any objections? Seeing none. And Representative Pickett, you're recognized to present the bill, and I believe you have an amendment to present.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this bill's got quite a few provisions. I'll try to get through it as quick as possible. The first section is going to make some changes to our JMAC grant requirements. It just simply says that if they fall more than 100 employees below the recommended amount, that they will have to lose 1% of their grant per employee that they're under 100. The second part is we have a part of ABC law. It's called alternating proprietorship. The craft brewers in this state currently have this law, and this will just extend it to the distillers as well. We also have a food and beverage part of ABC. This is to cover establishments that are not covered under restaurant. They do not, they're like bakeries and things like that. It's become very popular to have like bourbon-infused donuts. Rum cakes is one of them. Under current law, they cannot operate and have that liquor in there. This is giving them a permit and allowing them to operate. We have, next part is the modifying our water and sewer bid projects. This will lower it from 3 to 2. Many municipalities are having trouble getting 3 bids, and it's taking them longer, so this will reduce it to 2 and help them out. The other part is the exemption from non-betterment costs. That's if a small municipality and there is some requirements where there is water and sewer that is being moved by Department of Transportation. This is allowing this to move from, get reimbursed from 10,000 up to 20,000 in population. So that will help some of the small towns. And the amendment sort of goes along with that last part. The amendment would also include the moving of utilities, and that would allow them to get reimbursed for that forced relocation. And I'd ask for your support on the amendment and the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion or debate on the amendment?
I have a question.
Representative Stevens, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you. Representative Pickett?
Yes, ma'am.
I know that the grocery stores have started selling alcohol-infused ice cream. I mean, does this apply to that? Do they need specific permits, or do they need regulation in terms of who they can sell it to?
That has already been covered in another bill.
Any further discussion or debate on the amendment? Representative Pirtle moves to amend the PCS with the amendment from Representative Pickett. All in favor of the adoption of the amendment will say aye. Those opposed say no. Being chair, the ayes have it. Ayes do have it, and the amendment is adopted. Now we're back on the bill. Representative Pickett, any further discussion or debate on the bill?
Only if there's any questions.
Members, any further discussion or debate of the bill? Seeing none, Representative Miller moves for a favorable report to the PCS for Senate Bill 664 as amended, rolled into a new PCS unfavorable to the original bill. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Being chair, the ayes have it. Ayes do have it. And Senate Bill 664 has passed the committee. Next, we're going to move to Senate Bill 307. Who's carrying Senate Bill 307? Senate Bill 307. That will be displaced. House Bill 747. Who's carrying House Bill 747? Representative Adams, I believe you're carrying the 2025 Wildlife Resources changes. This is a PCS without objection. Hearing none, the PCS will be for the committee. Representative Adams, you're recognized in the bill.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry.
Pause. Representative Torbert, go ahead.
I'm not seeing that on the dashboard. Is it one that was added?
Hold on just 1 second. We'll double check.
It is? Okay. I apologize for telling me it is.
All right. Is confirmed. It's on the dashboard and ready to go. The PCS has been approved and before the committee. Representative Adams, you're recognized to present House Bill 747 to the committee.
Wildlife resources changes. There are two changes in the PCS. One, they removed the 3.25% sales tax, and they have added the elk permit auction raffle. Those are the only two changes.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Cunningham moves for a favorable report to the proposed committee substitute to Senate Bill 747. Unfavorable to the original bill. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Be sure the ayes have it. Ayes do have it. And House Bill 747 has passed the committee. Thank you, Representative Adams. Next, we're going to move to House Bill 480. Representative Campbell, you're recognized to present the bill to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill simply sets up a process for a 180-day provisional medical license for physicians coming in from out of state. If they're in good standing from the out of state where they practice and they've been actively practicing for at least 2 years, they still have to file for regular licensure, and if they have not completed their requirements within the 180 days, that provisional license would fail. There's a few lines about clarifying jurisdictional, the medical board and the auditor's office. I'm happy to take any questions.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Cunningham moves for a favorable report to House Bill 480. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Being here, the ayes have it. Ayes do have it, and House Bill 480 has passed committee. Thank you very much, sir. Next, we have House Bill 819. Representative Johnson. There is a PCS to this bill. Without objection, the PCS will be moved forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the bill to conform with the federal guidelines to allow us to accept the $1.5 billion in BEAD funding. I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's the main provision, time sensitive.
Any further discussion or debate? Representative Longus, you're recognized.
A question for the bill sponsor.
Recognized, sir.
Could you describe the changes in the PCS and in particular explain the change about exempting the State Highway Patrol from the provisions of that article?
Yeah, we're currently already operating under that, something that they've asked for, so this is just extending that. And as far as we know, the agency's neutral on it, and the department has asked for it.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Pickett moves for a favorable report to House Bill 819. Representative Pickett moves for a favorable report to the proposed committee substitute to House Bill 819, unfavorable to the original bill. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Ayes have it. Ayes do have it. And House Bill 819 has passed committee. Thank you very much, sir. Next, we're going to move
Mr.
back.
Chair?
You recognize Representative Stevens.
There's an orphan bill 307. If you'd like, I'll take it up. Senate Bill 307.
Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and move that right there. Representative Stevens, you're recognized to present Senate Bill 307 from your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What this is apparently from one of the Bar Association provisions. It indicates that if a person has an interest in an LLC, I don't know, I'm getting a lot of feedback here, that when they die or become incompetent, there's a special economic interest that their successors will have, but they won't automatically become a partner in the business.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Tyson moves for a favorable report to Senate Bill 307. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Ayes do have it. And Senate Bill 307 has passed to committee. Next, we want to move to Senate Bill 69. Representative Shepard, Representative Winslow, I'll let you play paper, rock, scissors forever who goes. Or just both of you join the Rules Committee. Welcome, sir. There is a PCS to the bill. Without objection, the PCS is put forward to the committee. And you gentlemen are both recognized to present your bill.
This bill basically is several local bills that have been put together on one bill, and my part of it is the ETJ in Jacksonville, City of Jacksonville, that basically does away with that. It's been passed unanimous in the House through all the committees. I have support from many people there, and some of our city councils are neutral on it. So that's the part I'm supporting, and I appreciate your support on that. It also provides for partisan elections of members of Jackson County Board of Education, Also, modifications for filling vacancies on the Haywood County Board of Commissioners and so forth. So any questions, I'll try to answer those. Representative Winslow, do you have anything?
Just here for moral support. Gotcha.
Moral support, okay. Any further discussion or debate?
Mr. Chair,
Representative Longus, you're recognized.
just a quick question. Could you just explain what the differences are in the PCS?
Difference in what, sir?
This is a PCS, right? So just the differences in the committee substitute.
Yeah, so it's completely 100% different. All the language from Senator Moffitt's bill was removed, and then this was used as a vehicle for various members' local bills.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Miller moves for a favorable report to Senate Bill 69. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Being chair, ayes have it, ayes do have it, and Senate Bill 69 has passed committee. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just want to go back through some of the bills that were temporarily displaced. Do we have anybody here to run Senate Bill 101? Senate Bill 101. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have Senate Bill 690 in our committee in our hands. We'll go ahead and hear that. Representative Biggs, you're recognized to present your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a bill concerning mostly appraisers. We do have a lack of appraisers in the state of North Carolina. Like a lot of the industries, we're trying to find better pathways to get more appraisers involved in real estate appraisal. Section 1 makes changes to allow additional training method for appraisers. It will allow the practical applications of real estate appraisals program, which is an online program, to be used in North Carolina. 2 years ago, the NC Appraisal Board changed the rules to allow a new training of appraisers in North Carolina that is solely conducted online with no supervised practice. Legislation was passed in 2023 to delay the implementation of this rule while the program was being developed. Based on the program outcomes, we have worked with all stakeholders to come up with a compromise that will ensure that appraisers are trained to the best standards while allowing a new training method. This bill was brought to us by the Association of Realtors. They approve it, the Appraisal Board, all parties. Section 2, I'll go through a couple sections. The House has already passed it in Section 8 of House Bill 926. Section 3 has already been passed in Section 9 of House Bill 926. And Section 4 had already passed in House Bill 620. So the only new section to this 690 is the appraisal part. We appreciate your green vote.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Gillespie moves for a favorable report to Senate Bill 690. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Being chair, the ayes have it, ayes do have it, and Senate Bill 690 has passed committee. Thank you very much. All right. Members, we're going to go back to Senate Bill 328. The amendment is ready, so we're back on the bill. And Representative Pearl, you're recognized to present your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Mr. Chairman, under Section 2, what my bill would do was, Section A, would just give the definition of a hemp-derived consumable product and give a more clear definition towards what I'm trying to accomplish, was take the hemp products that are currently legal out of the hands of persons under the age of 21. And if there's something else I can fix, I'll be glad to do that. I'm just trying to get to an end.
Any further discussion or debate on the amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment will say aye. All opposed say no. Being chair, the ayes have it, the ayes do have it, and the amendment has passed. Representative Pearl, we're back on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And there again, I'm just trying to craft a bill that will allow law enforcement the authority to have children or people under the age of 21, persuade them not to possess a hemp, consumable hemp product. I'll stand for any questions.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Cunningham moves for a favorable report to Senate Bill 328 as amended, rolled into a new PCS and unfavorable to the original bill. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. Being chair, the ayes have it. The ayes do have it, and Senate Bill 328 has passed the committee. Members, next we're going to move to Senate Bill 227 and Senate Bill 558. The chair is going to bundle those bills together. And Representative Willis, you're recognized to present both the bills.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate you bundling those. They are very, very similar. Being that we in the House like to do things the smart way, we bundled them together so we can vote on them once. These bills basically are a result of educational changes at the federal level, ensuring that the state of North Carolina in higher ed, in the community college system, the UNC system, and in K-12 can continue to receive federal funds according to the new laws that have been put in place since the new president took over in January. These are tied to eliminating DEI and those programs within our educational system. The intent of this bill, as it is written, is the General Assembly finds that Section 1 of Article 1 of the Constitution of this state recognizes the equality and rights of all persons. Therefore, it is the intent of the General Assembly that students, teachers, administrators, and other school employees respect the dignity of others, acknowledge the right of others to express differing opinions, and foster and defend intellectual honesty, freedom of inquiry and instruction, and freedom of speech and association that the public schools of this state and the higher ed programs of the state employ through teaching methods and procedures further to that extent. This is a pretty straightforward bill. We've gone round and round over DEI for the last couple of years here. I think we've debated this topic up and down. I won't go into each individual line item on this, but I will stand for questions and ask for your support for the bill. Thank you.
Any further discussion or debate? Representative Quick, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's unfortunate that we're at this place now where the current administration doesn't appreciate diversity, equity, and inclusion. But beyond that, this bill in this preamble has a false foundation. Let me quote what's in this bill. DEI programs promote a worldview that demands people, especially young students, judge others based on race, sex, or other factors. Nothing could be further from the truth. Diversity is in the DNA of the United States of America. Inclusion is in the DNA of the United States of America. For example, let me give you just some bills, some laws that have been enacted that are a result of diversity, equity, and inclusion policies and laws in the United States. Civil rights movement, the labor rights movement, the women's rights movement, the voters' rights movement, and the disability rights movement. Examples of exact laws, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, Civil Rights Act of 1866, Civil Rights Act of 1871, Civil Rights Act of 1964, Voting Rights Act of 1965, Civil Rights Act of 1968, Title I, Elementary and Secondary Education Act, 19th Amendment, Title IX, Fair Labor Standards Act, Migrant and Seasonal Agricultural Worker Protection Act, Family and Medical Leave Act, and Americans with Disabilities Act. All of those would be categorized currently as DEI programs. None of those should be done away with. And this bill should not be enacted in this state. So I'm going to vote no. And for those reasons and many more that I won't belabor this committee with, I'll vote no, and I'm glad to vote no against this bill. Thank you.
Any further discussion or debate? Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Representative Tyson moves for a report to Senate Bill 227 and Senate Bill 558. All in favor will say aye. All opposed say no. The opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The ayes do have it. And Senate Bill 227 and Senate Bill 558 has passed the committee. Members, I want to go back once again to Senate Bill 101. Was anybody planning on carrying Senate Bill 101? If not, that will be moved to the next Rule Calendars Committee. Is there any further business needs to come before the committee? Seeing none, we're adjourned.